You're live, that's what they said. This is the Aaron Zero Show news podcast for February, March, 5th of 5th of March, not February. So, what's the news for today? Zelensky offers terms to stop fighting. President of Zelensky has made a response, and this is what he says. He says, ready to free prisoners of war, stop long range drone and missile strikes, and declare truce at sea immediately if Russia does the same. And that is his message, really, also to the White House. And he also sent a letter to President Trump saying he's ready to negotiate. And he was praising Mr. Trump to the guilt because that's what Mr. Trump likes. And Europe tops US in giving aid to Ukraine. Out of 267 billion euros aid for Ukraine, Europe has been the biggest provider, allocating 132 billion euros since January 22 versus 114 billion euros by the US. So that is the amount of military aid just now. And then Europe ponders 800 billion plan to beef up defense. And a top Indian military officer said there was a lesson for India to learn. Delhi will have to deter and, if required, fight its adversaries, especially China, largely on its own. And Prime Minister Trudeau says Trump wants Canada's economy to collapse to make annexation easier. And Canada happens to be the largest trading partner of US next to Mexico. And the Canadians have put tariffs now on all US imports, which will make it much more costlier for people to buy US goods in Canada. And also, US jobs in America will be affected. And according to Russia, normalizing ties will need lifting of curbs, which means lifting of the sanctions against Moscow. And then China retaliates with tariffs of up to 15% on US farm exports. And billionaire Warren Buffett calls tariff an act of war and calling it tax of goods. And Russia agrees to help US broker nuclear talks with Iran, says report, and to work with them on issues including Tehran's nuclear program and its support for regional anti-US proxies. Then what else do we have? Trump critics call him Putin's puppet, and MAGA rejoices. The MAGA supporters of Mr. Trump are not very brainy, to put it the least. Bangladesh Students Build Party calls for new constitution, and it's not possible to build a new Bangladesh by having the old constitution and governance structure. An Arab summit focuses on Egypt's alternative to Trump's Gaza Riviera. Egypt has a $53 billion plan which aims at the reconstruction and rebuilding of Gaza without displacing the Palestinian people. And Israel proposes a new truce plan, which means Hamas should release half of the remaining hostages, but there's no talk about releasing the Palestinian prisoners there. And what else do we have here? India sends requests to US for Bofors case information. That is the Bofors guns that were bought by India